What's up, Earthlings, galactic travelers, ascended masters, deities, angelics? I pulled this up a couple of times to make this video today, just to even explain the magnitude of what's happening right now. As you can clearly see from the chart, these L angles, the 7 gate, the blue 7 that goes up to Pluto, which, as I sit in Nashville next to Vanderbilt, trying to erase the memory of Pluto. But what is Pluto? Pluto is the culmination of all your soul contracts in a millennial count. See, and this is what everybody forgot. Everybody forgot that we had a new millennial count. We're in year 3 now. When you activate and ascend in the higher DNA, you know what's going on if it's in your body, if you connected it. Those of us that are processional beings that came here to connect it, linked into the mind lineup and all the prophecies that have come through, it kind of just happened to us. We didn't read any books. It's inside your body. You activate and integrate the knowledge of other dimensions into your field. It's what Tesla was doing. It's what we all did. It's how we operated from a day to day. It isn't just your idea. It never is. But who's backing what you're doing? I'm telling you all of this because right now what's happening is the moon is going over Alpha Draconic Notice 1. What is that? That is a template of a human DNA count. Human DNA. Everybody on the planet. Every projection of every soul here. Source energy comes through star systems in order to get here. It's how DNA and blood are made here. It's how we all exist here in this area of space that we called Earth. But what I'm telling you right now is what's happening with Mars at 0 degrees of Cancer is that it's connecting into a higher angelic divine pattern that took away its power from a Notice 33 frequency when the millennial count started. Because when you've got Virgo, which is pure energy and air, it's pure energy. It's pure energy, and then it flows through what? It flows through Alpha Draconic Notice 1. What is that? It kinda, you can think of it, space like bones, where source energy is coming through almost like a stencil pattern. And then it's projecting. That's how it works. And then from a pure energetic perspective, that all goes through a filter system that then ends up on Algorab, which is connected to other dimensions and universes of space-time and energetics. That then folds back on to itself in Arcturus. And now we've got a higher dimensional knowledge going into Scorpio because we immediately go down into the water, and then Sagittarius sees it all, and Capricorn, it's how it works. But what happened is that the Sirian knowledge, the ESSENE codes, this is where Cancer, and we get into the original twins of the zodiac, and you know, all the crazy timelines and experiments that were done on twins all throughout human existence, especially in Germany, is why we had to have a twin program associated to Mary Magdalene and Yahshua to fucking begin with. So as a collective, Mars is now going in to Cancer. Now we're getting into Sirian territory. That's in the body. It's the collective body. It's collective salt in the body. And what I'm telling you is that those of us who had the key codes in order to connect it all for the rest of the collective, that's what we've been doing this whole time. I'm just conscious enough to come on here and tell you this is when miracles are going to start happening. Because I understand the Sirian, it's all of us that have Sirian energy. If you have any energy in your chart in Cancer, not just on your natal, but on your draconic, and then depending on the rest of the star systems that you have, and depending on the bodysuit that you inhabited, this is where we were reclaiming family lineages. Because why? So that you could get the Akashic libraries of it to understand it and wield it. And there were many of us that got a lot. Because somebody else on this planet, as a conscious human, has to be able to interconnect and basically outcreate the other. If you have to get to the top. Those of us that were here as a processional being, we had to get to the top. Why? So we could erase this mess. Sirian codes that were used to control the human race. And that is what the 33 was. And there was an entire human existence, and this is Isis stuff, then the plateau, and being able to switch from one body type to the other. The Alpha Draconic Notice 33 body type for the human existence was based on more of Neanderthal type of programming and the fact of breeding, because women needed to have bigger hips. Everything was associated with the programs of the human mind in order to procreate, because of the last ice age. That's why the root chakra of the person was more gridded down. Now what happened is that was all being controlled by a Masonic 33 layer, which is not just an organization. It is human consciousness of Freemasonry. And this is how evolutionary shifts happen. It's all of us connected. Now, why am I on here telling you this? Because we're beaming this information right now to Neptune. And Neptune is right on the outside, almost out, clearing basically a plasma field of static satellite control systems that were set up at that degree in space, governing submarines, deep water, and the very top of the bubble in etheric air and quantum energy that the collective was producing. And then, if you notice, it's going to go down straight to Mars. The moon is in Alpha Draconic Notice 33. It's now going to illuminate over the next day until it gets to Algorab, almost as if there's shadows of things walking around you. Because what this chart shows me, with Mars at 0 point, with Mercury and Venus now in a collective shift over the Sun and Uranus. So the Mercury of the collective, the mind of the collective, just went over Uranus. Venus, with all the new Earth codes that, guess what, are not associated to Notice 33 at all. In fact, you repel it. Why? Because the Essenes and the Cancer and all of us that were in that telepathic lineage that we're setting up. This is the sync codes. This is all of us working together. If you've been looking at synchronicities, all that, we've been lining up this new reality. And it was set in Cancer because only Sirian beings had the Druid codes connected to the Irish lineages of the original tutors and the original sacrifice on this planet. And those are the ones set to inherit. And everything else in between, including the whatever that you want to call in wherever wearing a crown, was all deceit in a 33 layer. And Pluto's showing us all about it. And it's beaming all the way over to the collective at Neptune. And then Neptune's squaring off with Mars to check the gate. Then it's going back up to Jupiter, which is almost coming into 0 point to go into Pisces. So it's at the very top of that Tesla tower. And it's all changing on Earth with the true node set at the beginning before Ra, basically. So this also, you're living in two realities. That you are. There's two realities going on. There's one that was the mundane, and now one that you're starting to realize is real as fuck. Welcome to the game. It's how it happened to us. Understanding and really getting real with yourself as to what you're creating and how explosive your powers are of your emotions and your thoughts. And then also having temperance and compassion, but taking care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of you, you can't lead the rest. This is the part that I have to continue to sit myself down and not get up and move 24 hours a day and do no matter what, because energetically we're rising so quickly. Because what's going to happen, and what's happening right now, is that notice 33 is now 44. And it's operating at a 4004 energetic. It's how it has to be because it's what the DNA was connected to. Because whenever you hybridize beings from 4004 down here, then guess what? Your reality just changed because the entire energetics on the rest of the universe is now culminating to create DNA at 4004. So guess what, everybody? That's where we're heading energetically. And I can promise you that what I'm speaking of right now is kindergarten-ass bullshit when you're a higher frequency being. Because you can't get away with low frequency shit whenever you're a high frequency being, because you know that you're creating your own shit. But then you also have the power and the wisdom to know that you're doing it. And then you have the power and the wisdom to know, as long as you're in balance, how to yield to change for the entire collective and how to bring on abundance for you and the collective. But then also, it feels like it's happening so slow because we're living through it. But really, a week changes everything now. But from in a body and from this perspective down here, it's like, hurry up, hurry up. But you look up, you don't realize they're right there. You just can't see them from your little body yet. Why not? Or can you hear them and you can see them, but you're just don't sure what it is? That's okay too. Everything's okay. But realize that it's what's happening, because the entire energetics of the planet and the entire universal plane is changed because we unleashed from an alpha draconic stronghold that was on this planet, and we just dealt with some forces of some shit that nobody ever even fucking dreamt to make a movie about. I can promise you that. Those of us who know. But that was the truth, because the human race was taken over. You're waking up from it. We just got out of World War II. Who are you? This is your quantum leap. $155. Ciao.